Very good evening, Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. I hope you all had a wonderful day today. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi Sai Baba. We'll be beginning with a new chapter today, that is chapter 34, the significance of Buddhi concluded. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra, my most humble obeisance, I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. The significance of a Buddhi has been described most truly in the last chapter. In the present chapter 2, we shall carry on the same narration, further describing its beneficial properties. In continuation of the previous chapter, let the listeners listen at their ease and for their own happiness. As to the great power of the Buddhi, in the most painful and hard-to-cure disease, a deep-seated ulcer which could not be cured by any treatment was cured completely by the smearing of the Buddhi at Baba's hands. Many are such instances about this Buddhi, of which I shall relate just one to give the general idea. Being based on a real experience, the listeners will appreciate it greatly as they listen. At Malegaon, in the Nasik district, there was a doctor, a holder of a medical degree. His nephew had some disease which no medicine could cure. Himself a qualified doctor, he had a friend who was also a doctor. They both tried various remedies. Both were experienced, skilled surgeons, but ultimately they too were exhausted at their wits' end. The disease was a deep-seated bone ulcer called in the vernacular as Hadyavrana, often distorted to Hadya Varna, but it was a peculiar disease, hard to cure, which would not respond to any medicine. All medicines, indigenous and foreign, and whatever remedies occurred to the mind, were all tried out, but everything failed. Even a surgery was performed, but without success. The nephew was young and could not bear the pain. The suffering brought on great agony, and the near and dear ones were distressed to see his pain. Every possible cure was tried, but the disease did not abate in the least. Then the relatives and friends said, propitiate, worship the deities, gods, personal gods and family gods. All were propitiated, but not one amongst them was of any help. It was then that he came to know that there was a great Avaliya staying at Shirdi. He was Sai Maharaj, the greatest among the yogis and most excellent among the saints, whose mere darshan was enough to drive away all the illness. This was really what he heard. So a desire arose for Sai's darshan. The father and the mother therefore decided to at least try the remedy in the name of God. It is said that he is a great Avaliya, and if he applies Uddhi with his own hands, even the most dreadful diseases are cured. What is one lose in trying out this experience? Come, let us worship his feet. Let us try this one last remedy. Oh, let this danger be averted at least by this means. It is our last hope. And so the parents packed everything, and eager for Sai's darshan, they at once went to Shirdi. Immediately on arrival, they took Baba's darshan, prostrated at his feet in obeisance, related to him the suffering of the child, as they stood in front of him with folded hands and piteous faces. They began entreating Sai in a sorrowful voice. This child is in great pain. Due to his illness, they said, we cannot bear to see his suffering and know not what to do next. We see no ray of hope at all. Seeing the child suffer thus, O Sai Samarth, we are totally exhausted. Please place your hand of protection on his head and relieve this suffering. Having heard of your great powers, we have come here all the way. We surrender at your feet with single-minded devotion. Do give us the gift of his life. Sai, the compassionate one, then gave them an assurance, saying, those who seek refuge in this mosque will never come to an evil end, even to the end of the world. Now, have no more worry. Take the zudi and smear it on that ulcer. In about 8 days or so, you will see its good effect. Have faith in God. This is not just a mosque like any other. It is Sri Krishna's Dwarka. And he who puts his foot into this mosque will at once get back his health and well-being. You will yourself experience it. Absolutely true. This is something, the gospel truth. Each one who come with absolute faith and take refuge at the feet of the Guru, the real master, miracles do happen. It's not about miracle, it's about the faith. For the parents, it's going to be a miracle. For you and me, it might be a miracle. But that is the power of the great master. When you go with that faith, you think that the gurus will not ward off all your evil. This is what even Baba is saying. You're entering a place, it's a dwelling place of Sri Krishna's Dwarka. It's called Dwarka Mai. Dwarka means what? It is a dwar for you, to go into the divine, the divine home. It is a place where everyone can take refuge. There is no caste, creed, there is no religion, there is no all kind of differences that we human beings think of. Dwarka Mai is a place where everybody is welcome. It is the Vasudev Kutumbam. It is the family of Vasudev. So everybody is welcome. This entire universe is welcome. And anyone can seek refuge at the lotus feet of the Divine Master, Lord Shri Krishna. So there is no, my Guruji was telling how Lord Shri Krishna, doesn't abide by rules, in the sense the rules are meant for like people who believe in strong religion and every other, aspect of Vedas and Shastras. Lord Shri Krishna only seeks your love and devotion. For him, everybody is the same. And he has beautifully explained the aspect of love and devotion, in his entire life story. So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, in that it is mentioned and it is described how beautifully Lord Shri Krishna grants that devotion and gives his benediction to those who seek him very sincerely. He doesn't care about, whether you are a low caste, high caste, it doesn't matter to him. He only sees your pure heart and he accepts offering from everybody, be it a tulsi or be it $1 million, doesn't matter to him. Everything is equal to him. Just like the way how, Shabari, with her devotion, she ate that fruit. She tasted it first and she gave the choicest of the fruits, which was very sweet. And she offered it to Shri Ram. And Shri Ram very lovingly ate that. You know why? Because that is the love. Shabari wanted to offer the best of the fruit to Shri Ram. So she wanted to first taste and then offer it. We say, oh, she's tasting it. How can she offer something which she has already tasted? No, it's not that. But what did Shri Ram do? Very lovingly he ate that. Why did he accept? Because in that was filled her with all her love. He saw that love with the devotion. She put the effort to pick the choices of the fruit and then taste it, so that she didn't want to offer anything that it was sour or bitter. She wanted to give which was very sweet. So that was her love. That is what the Lord seeks in us. So anybody who comes to the Divine Master, he accepts them all. He very graciously grants them the benediction. Similarly, it is mentioned in Guru Charitra also. Even an evil being or somebody who's very good, even a robber, a thief, anybody can come to the Divine Master. They will never stop them, because they don't differentiate between the right people, wrong people, good people, bad people. There is nothing like that in their world. Everybody is equal to them. They do not differentiate anyone. All they see in that individual is the divinity. That is why Lord Shri Krishna has said that we need to be able to see God in every being and understand this entire creation is none other than himself. So we should not get swayed away by what we see. And when we have this feeling of samabhav, we will only experience love. That is what is freedom all about. Freedom from bondage of this material worldly existence. A freedom where you can see the divine being at all times. You can experience him. A blissful state. It's a state where you are one with everything. The oneness is what you can experience. Such is the great divine master. Such was Baba too. Then as per Baba's command, sorry, I've missed one verse, that anyone should come here and not experience relief is that thing can never happen. Either in the past, present or future, be sure that your object will be accomplished. Then as per Baba's command, the boy was made to sit in front of him and Baba moved his hand over the leg, bestowing on him a glance of grace. This was of course a physical illness. But even when a calamity comes by destiny or by great mental disturbance, Baba's darshan averts it altogether. Gazing upon Shri Sai's face, all the pain and suffering subsided. On hearing these nectar-sweet words, the child experienced great relief and happiness. For 4 days they stayed there. The illness gradually diminished as the faith grew inside. Well, is that the illness real? Everything is Maya alone. So when you know even the illness is unreal, but for a human being, the illness is real. Why? Because you are able to see somebody suffering actually. But when you have the faith in the divine, everything is unreal. The illness will gradually go away only because of the faith, not by anything else. I gave my own example a while ago, when we were doing the initial chapters. I had severe back pain. My back, I was not even able to bend, and I had to go to an orthopedic and they put me onto some physiotherapy and then asked me to do some exercise. And this was when I was in Singapore. I've already narrated this story. So to cut the long story short, I tried various remedies, went to so many doctors, nothing helped me. My Guruji simply said, just go for your walk, be normal, everything will be fine. But yes, it took me a year to, get back to that state of being normal. And the similar thing repeated even now. And at the time, I was scared. I was not even able to sit. I was not even able to bend. It was terrible. The pain was excruciating pain. So again, I told my preceptor, let's go, my Guruji, my Krishna Guruji, saying, okay, can we please go to the doctor? So we went to the same physiotherapist who helped me way back in time. And at that time, my Guruji said a very interesting thing. After all the checkup had happened, he asked me to bend forward, bend backward. I was able to do everything. Then my Guruji said, I have nothing to do with this. It is a very strange way, he mentioned, and he went and sat outside. He said, you consult the doctor and you come. So this physiotherapist was giving me a series of things that I need to do. And all my Guruji knew is nothing was wrong with me. It is that, the pain I have to overcome in my mind. So if you believe there is a pain, then there is a pain. So after the moment my Guruji said that, it really, it hit me hard. Oh my God. Yes, I have to fight my mind because the pain is caused by my mind. There is nothing wrong with me. My Guruji had already said, you're perfectly fine. So I need to have faith in his words. And with that faith, I every single day continued going for my walk. No matter how severe the pain was, I was able to walk. After some time, I started going for small jogs, and gradually the pain subsided. There was nothing wrong with me. So the faith is what you need to have. So every single time the mind would point, to that exact specific place in my back, that particular point where the pain would come very strong, the moment I would focus on it. The moment I would take my mind off that and divert my mind to something else or chant my Guruji's name or listen to some satsangs, the pain would vanish away. So this way I was able to overcome. So it is only the faith. So I know my Guruji said nothing wrong with me means there is nothing wrong with me. So it is the mind that you have to overcome. But these things are going to come only to test your faith. How much faith can you show in the great master? So when he says, please go do this or eat this medicine, just have it. and then you'll be perfectly all right. There is nothing wrong with you. So this is what my Guruji teaches, and this is what you all need to learn. Stop giving yourself these reasons and feeling that, oh, I fell down, I'm having pain, something bad is happening to me. Nothing is wrong with you. Just move on. Ignore that. Don't let your mind override you. You need to make your mind, you need to make your mind listen to you. Control your mind. You need to control your mind, not the other way around. So coming back, thereafter, they took Baba's permission, and the three of them returned to their place happy and satisfied. And was this any small miracle? The pain of a deep-seated ulcer disappeared, while the only unique remedy was in the Woody and in Baba's glance of grace. It's not the Woody, it is the faith, it's the power. When Baba gives that Woody and one glance, just one glance, when the Divine Master looks at you, that itself is enough. He removes away all that sins, that karma, that which you are, even that affliction, whatever that you think you have will just ward off. He will avert everything. He just removes it off just with that glance. Nothing will touch you. Such is the power of the great Divine Master. But please understand, whatever the suffering might be is only because of your karma. So what the Guruji does is, he has the power to remove them off. So that is what he does, because he is a desireless being. He is the Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. He is the Parabrahman himself. He is not a human being. He is not some ordinary mortal. He is the divine God, Almighty Lord. Such is the importance of a saint's darshan. If one is fortunate enough to get his assurance and benediction, the disease is destroyed completely. And so, after a few days, while the Woody was being applied to the affected part and also given to drink, the wound began to dry up and was healed. The boy regained good health. When his uncle at Malgaon came to know of this, he felt an eager desire for Sai's darshan, and said to himself that while going to Bombay, he would satisfy his wish. But later, when he set out to go to Bombay, people created doubts in his mind, both at Malgaon and at Manmad. With the result, he abandoned his plan to go to Shirdi. Such is the case with any good resolution. In the beginning, wicked people always create obstacles. Only those who do not give in to what such people say will, in the end, pursue the right path. Oh my God, this is a very important lesson, and let me explain to you. I'm going to reread this once again. But later, when he set out to go to Bombay, people created doubts in his mind, both at Malgaon and at Manmad. With the result, he abandoned his plan to go to Shirdi. Such is the case with any good resolution. In the beginning, wicked people always create obstacles. Only those who do not give in to what such people say will, in the end, pursue the right path. See, whenever you're seeking the divine, something good is going to happen to you. There is always an obstacle that comes in front of you. Some wicked people will come in some form because they don't want that good to happen to you. So it is not so easy to go and get the darshan of the great masters. You'll say you will come, and then you will not come at all. So this is what happens. And I have seen this happening to many of my Guruji's disciples and few newcomers too. They will come at, oh, I want to come and meet the Guruji. We would have given an appointment, and then they'll invariably cancel many times, finally before they make that choice to make an effort to come. It is not so easy to come to the Divine Master. The Master is always going to see how much effort you will put. Are you going to fall for these doubts by what people create in your mind, or you have your firm faith with which you will go on that path to meet? So that is what the great Gurus do test. And I've seen many people take their own sweet time, but before they finally end up coming and meeting him. So this is how the Divine Masters work. And sometimes it also so happens that, yes, you will make the first attempt, and whatever the effort you will put in, all the josh you will come, in an excitement, in all that vigor, you'll end up coming. But after that, you will never turn up again. So that's another next obstacle that comes about. So whatever might be the case, you will not be able to come. You'll say, I will come, I want to come, but you will never end up coming here. And please understand, that requires your self-effort. Nobody is going to make you come here. The Divine Master's grace is there, but you need to put effort to come the next time. So that is what my Guruji says. It's not just that one step forward, but there needs to be every step going forward. One step, then the next step, and the next step. You have to keep continuing. You can't stop. So coming back. So neglecting the saint's darshan, he went on straight to Bombay, deciding to spend the remainder of his leave at Alibag. When he made the resolve thus, he heard a voice in his sleep for 3 consecutive nights, saying, "Is there disbelief in me even now?" The doctor was astonished when he heard this ethereal voice on 3 consecutive nights. So, trusting the voice to be true, he made up his mind to go to Shirdi. However, he was treating a patient of typhoid at that time, so he decided to go immediately once the patient was better. But the patient, was running a high temperature and no medicine was effective. He did not show any improvement. There seemed no chance of his going to Shirdi soon. He then resolved in his mind, if this patient improves today, I will go to Shirdi tomorrow itself, without a moment's delay. Even as he made this firm resolve, within 3 to 7 hours of it, even as he made this firm resolve, within 3 to 7 hours of it, the fever came down. His purpose answered. The doctor at once set out to Shirdi. Keeping to this resolve, the doctor thus went to Shirdi, worshipped Baba's feet with all his heart. Baba also confirmed his inner faith and experience and won him over to the Guru's service. Placing his hand of benediction on the doctor's head, he gave him Udi Prasad. Sai's inconceivable power left the doctor wonderstruck. The doctor stayed on for 4 days and returned home with a joyous heart. Before a fortnight had passed after this, he was sent to Vijapur on promotion. The painful ulcer gave rise to the idea of Sai's darshan, which in turn created a great attachment to the saint, resulting ultimately in a state of everlasting happiness. Similarly, Dr. Pillai was once suffering from the guinea worms, and one after the other there appeared no less than 7 guinea worms. They caused him great pain and suffering. But for Sai Baba, he had great love and devotion. Baba too called him by the nickname Bahu, and would always inquire very lovingly after Bahu's well-being. Morning and evening, Bahu's place was near the hand railing in the mosque, and for a long time there used to be a mutual exchange of ideas of plenty with Bahu. While smoking a chillum, Bahu had to be there. While smoking a bidi too, Bahu's presence was imperative. Bahu was needed while taking decisions in matters, and if Bahu was not present, time would not pass pleasantly. Such was the state of affairs. But when the pain from the affliction became unbearable, Bahu became so weak that he took to his bed. The pain and suffering caused great agitation and despair. Even in that most trying situation, there was a ceaseless chant of Sai's name on his lips. "Oh, enough of this agony. Even death is preferable to this," said he, as he totally surrendered to Sai. He sent a message to Baba, "I am fed up with suffering so much pain. There are so many wounds all over my body. I have not the strength to endure any more. When I have been so pure of conduct, why have I to suffer this painful condition? I have always avoided wicked, sinful deeds. Why then the burden of sin on my head?" This is the question we all human beings ask God at some point or the other in life. We feel that we have not done anything bad. We have always been good human beings. So why we have to suffer this pain? You need to understand the pain you're suffering in this body is not because of whether you have done the right thing or the wrong thing in this life, but it is your prarabdha karma. You have committed some sin in your previous life. Everything is because of your karma alone. Whether it is disease, any kind of afflictions, any kind of karmic, events with someone else, It could be favorable or unfavorable. Everything happens only because of your karma. So never ask this question, why is this happening to me? On the contrary, just seek the grace of the God to be able to overcome that karma, or to be able to overcome that suffering with the divine master's grace. That is all you need to have. And always have faith in your guru. Like my Guruji says, you can overcome anything that you have by faith and overcoming your mind. It is your mind that you need to control. And when you do that, you will sail through everything. And when your Guruji is there with you, why worry? Why fear when I'm here? And you know what? The most beautiful thing is that he cushions your karma. You're only going to feel the impact 10%, and 90% he removes it off. But for that, you need to have that conviction in him, an absolute faith and surrender. So let's see what happens now. The pain of this disease is like that of death. Baba, I really cannot bear it now. It is better that I die. Whatever suffering remains to endure, I shall bear it in the next birth. Unless one endures one's full share of suffering, there is no escape to complete, which one may have to take more births. But what is ordained by prarabdha can never be avoided. Dull-witted that I am, even I know this. See, whatever is ordained by your prarabdha, you have to suffer. And if you do not suffer in this life, then you have to again be born in some other life to continue that suffering. So why, grant yourself many more births? Finish it off right now. I will happily take 10 more births to suffer for my karma. But give me this one gift, that my present birth be terminated. Enough, oh enough of this life. Release me from this birth, for I can endure this pain no longer. This is my one and only request to you. Sai, the king among the Siddhas, was deeply moved to pity by this prayer. Listen to the nectar-sweet compassion that he showered on Dr. Pillai to console him. And just see the plan that Sai Baba, the wish-fulfilling tree of the devotees, initiated to mitigate the intense suffering of his devotee. The message from Dr. Pillai was brought by Dikshit, on hearing which Baba said, "Go and tell him, let your mind be free from fear." He also sent the message, why spread out this sufferings over 10 births? We can spread it over 10 days only, by sharing it mutually and be done with it. How sweet. Bab, these words are very profound. Let me explain to you what it actually means. He says, why spread out the suffering over 10 births? He's saying, why do you want to take 10 more births to suffer the same sickness? We can spread it over 10 days. Only by sharing it mutually. What Baba is saying is that I will take on your sufferings and we will mutually share it, and let us end it in 10 days. That is the grace Baba is bestowing on his loving devotee. And be done with it. So let us finish it off right now. Such is the grace of the Divine Master. Oh, that you should ask for the calamity of death when I sit here, powerful enough to give you moksha, your material as well as spiritual welfare. Is this all your prowess, your daring? So he just wants you to have faith. And when Baba is there, wow, what calamity shall befall his devotees? Nothing shall happen. But the mind will always create the fear. So don't fall for that fear. Have that absolute faith that nothing shall go wrong. Everything is happening for the good alone. This is one conviction you need to have. Even in the bad, there is something good to happen. But what that good we can't see. But know that everything is happening for your well-being alone. Let him be lifted up and brought here. Let the suffering be undergone and endured. Let him not be so distracted by fear. Carry him here on your back. And so, in that painful condition, the doctor was immediately brought to the mosque. Baba removed the pillow on which he was leaning and gave it to him. It was placed on his right hand, the place where Fakir Baba used to sit. Lean against this and lie down quietly. Do not worry needlessly, Baba said. Stretch your leg out slowly. It will give you some relief. What is preordained will not be over unless it is borne fully. That alone is its remedy. See, you have to go through it. There's no way you can get out of it. But only thing is, the suffering is only going to be, it is going to he's going to remove it. In the sense, he will somewhere reduce the impact. It will be cushioned. That is what Baba is also doing now. And let us see how beautifully he does this. Good or bad, sorrow or joy, nectar or poison, these pairs of opposites come to us with the current according to our sanchit. Therefore, feel neither joy nor sorrow for them. Sanchit, again, this is a karma which you have accumulated. So in this birth, right, you have to you come with a certain amount to finish it off. So that amount of karma is called prarabdha karma, associated to this body, and you have to finish it. So some people might not be able to hear, some will have some kind of sickness, but you have to go through. So surrender that.
No other way. It is true.
Surrender that, and you will, sorry for the disturbance, surrender that and you will have to go through it. There is no choice, so face it, but have that faith. Surrender to the divine Lord Almighty. He will take care of it. Why fear? Do not have to worry. But it is the mind you need to control. Everything is in your mind. So don't think you have sickness. Sickness can be overcome when you have the strength of your mind, the will, and the faith in the Lord Almighty. Endure whatever comes your way. Allah Malik is our protector. Always meditate on Him, for He alone bears the burden of all the cares and anxieties. With all your heart, wealth, body and speech, surrender humbly at His feet. When you take His name ceaselessly, you will experience His Leela. Dr. Pillai then said, Nana Sahib Chandorkar had bandaged the wound, but there is no relief. Baba said, Nana is crazy. Remove that bandage or else you will die. A crow will come presently and peck at it and you will be all right. Baba talks in a very cryptic language. You should understand. The great masters will never communicate directly. They will never talk in that straight line. They talk in a very cryptic language. You need to understand what they're saying. But sad, many a time, people do not understand what they are saying. Their way of communicating is very unique. You can never understand. You can never fathom or even comprehend what the masters are talking. And that is a problem because our mind is so closed. We are all very, confined. We can't see through beyond our nose. That is what my Guruji will say. You can only see so much. You cannot see beyond your nose. While they were talking thus, Abdul immediately came up to put oil in the earthen lamps. And quite unexpectedly, what happened next? Narrow as the mosque was, it was already crowded with devotees. To add to it, there was the confusion caused by Pillai's condition. Abdul could hardly move about. Moreover, Abdul was intent on the work in hand. Concentrating on the earthen lamps, for a moment he became unmindful of Pillai's presence. And then a most extraordinary thing happened. And what could Abdul do? What is to happen cannot be avoided. So by mistake, it's not mistake, it's all programmed. So by mistake, he stepped on the painful leg which Pillai had stretched out. The leg was already swollen and on that same leg, Abdullah's foot came down. Oh God! The loud piercing cry that Pillai broke into was terrible. He simply writhed in agony. Once and only once did he give a shriek in agony which seemed to penetrate through the head as he entreated Baba piteously with folded hands. Listen to it. The abysses ruptured and the pus began to flow out of them. With a restless and agitated mind, Pillai on the one hand cried out loudly, on the other began to sing. O Karim, Allah, have pity on my condition, for your name is Rahman, compassionate, and Rahim, merciful. You alone are the emperor of both the worlds, and your greatness is manifest in the world. All the worldly business will become extinct, but your glory is everlasting. You are always the refuge of your devotees. A shooting pain continued to appear every now and again. His mind was greatly agitated and he felt very weak. Everyone realized that all this was Sai Baba's sport. So cute. Baba said, look, Bau has started singing, and Pillai asked him, Baba, is that crow still to come and peck at my wounds? So cute. And Baba said, you go and lie down quietly in the vada. The crow will not come again to peck. Did he not come just now? He who stepped on your leg. That was the crow who pecked at you and then flew away and subdued your painful abscesses. I don't know how to pronounce this, so sorry, whatever that wound was. What crow and what pecking? He just brought about what was inevitably going to happen. The crow appeared in the form of Abdullah, and Baba proved his words to be true. Baba's words are not just words, they are inerasable as the destiny of man that Brahmadeva writes on his forehead. They can stop if effectually the result of a man's karma. In a short while, Bao experienced great relief. Application of the Udi and drinking it in water had been the only medicine, the only antidote. The disease was totally rooted out as the 10th day dawned. Seven live thread-like guinea worms came out of the wounds. The severe pain subsided altogether, marking the end of his suffering. Pillai was simply amazed to see this miracle, and tears of love streamed down his eyes on seeing Baba's marvelous Leela. Pillai at once fell at Baba's feet. He was choked with emotion and not a word escaped from his lips. I shall conclude this narration of the great power of the Udi after relating one more experience. The essence of this gospel is, as your faith, so is the experience you get. I keep repeating this. As is your faith, so are your experiences. You don't have to go to a temple, you don't have to go anywhere. God is everywhere. And you can sit in your place wherever you are, and you can call out to Him and He will appear there. But how much is your faith? That is what matters. Babaji was the younger brother of Madhavrao, who was the elder of the two. Listen to how he achieved his desired goal by making use of the Udi when he was once in great difficulty. So great is the Udi's power that I just cannot praise it enough. It is a most remarkable remedy for the bubonic plague and other diseases. There is none to compare with it. While Babaji was staying at Saulvihir, a place near Shirdi, his wife once had high fever and buboes appeared in the region of the groins. In his mind, Babaji was afraid, is frightened. In that fearful time of the night, seeing his wife's distress, Babaji was filled with apprehension and bewilderment. He lost his nerve completely. Trembling with nervousness and fear, night though it was, he went running to Shirdi immediately and told his brother what had happened. Two buboes have appeared, he said, and she is burning with fever and is in great distress. Come and see for yourself. This, I think, does not portend any good. Madhavrao was startled to see Babaji's piteous face as he spoke. His mind restless and agitated, he too lost heart. Discriminating though Madhavrao's mind was, he panicked at the mention of buboes. For everyone knows the quick end that follow bubonic plague. Be the occasion a happy or a difficult one, the task auspicious or inauspicious, it was customary in Shirdi to first ask Sai's advice and then to follow to the last detail whatever he advises, for he alone wards off the trouble of his devotees. Oh, how many such experience can one recount? So, in keeping with his usual practice, Madhavrao also took the decision and prostrating before Baba and obeisance, narrated everything to him first. He said, Glory be to you, O Sainath, have mercy on us, the helpless ones. Oh, what is this calamity now, and what needless worry? But then, who else can we entreat but you? Please mitigate the suffering, the pain of that poor girl. Extend your benediction to her. Please save us from this one calamity. Who else is our Savior except you? Please abate this high fever and keep your promise. He asked Baba's leave to accompany his brother back. Baba then said, "Do not go at this odd hour of the night, but send her some udi. What buboes and what fever? Our father is Allah Malik. It will be all right by itself. She will be safe and sound without a doubt." But early in the morning, at sunrise, yourself go to Saul Vihir. Do not be in a hurry to go right now. Stay here in peace. See, the Guru's instructions are very important. If he says, do not go, send Udi. What fever, what buboes, everything will be fine. You need to have that absolute faith. But if you, by chance, by your mind's self-conceit, fail to listen to Baba's instruction, then something else can happen and you can never avoid that calamity. But his instruction is very clear. Everything will be all right. Of course, everything will be all right. But you need to have that conviction and absolute faith. So let us see what happens. On hearing this, Babaji was scared. He was dismayed, for Madhav knew herbal remedies, but it was of no use at this time. However, Madhav recognized the mark full well that no medicine would work without Sai's grace. So he obeyed Baba's command and sent the Udi with his brother, himself staying back at ease. Babaji returned alone, worried and disheartened. Mixing some Udi with water, he applied it to her body and gave her some to drink. Soon enough, she was drenched with perspiration and fell into a deep sleep. At sunrise, his wife felt energetic, for there was no trace of either the fever or the poisonous buboes anywhere. Babaji was astonished. Here, Madhav got up, finished his morning ablutions and came to the mosque for darshan. Before setting out to go to Saul Vihir, he took Baba's darshan, prostrated at his feet and was on his way as soon as he received Udi with Baba's blessing. As he was coming down the steps of the mosque, Baba was heard commanding him, "Shama, you must return at once. Delay will not do." Again, the instructions are very clear. You go, but you need to immediately return back. On the way, the brother-in-law worried over how the sister-in-law must be suffering, how she would bear the pain of the two burning buboes. Oh, how she must be lying in great torment. And yet, Baba must have been hinting at something, or else why did he say, "Come back immediately"? Shama panicked at the thought and his step quickened as he trod the way. Walking hurriedly, he could hardly wait to reach Saul Vihir. But as he stepped on the threshold, he could hardly believe his eyes. She, who had bubonic plague the previous night, was seen preparing tea as usual. Seeing this sudden change, Madhav was astonished in his mind. So he said to Babaji, "How is it that she is engaged in the daily chores?" And Babaji replied, "All this is most certainly the marvel of Baba's Udi. As soon as I came home, I gave her Udi to drink and rubbed some of it all over her body. At once, her body was drenched in perspiration and she enjoyed a deep, peaceful slumber. Later, as the sun rose, she sat up feeling refreshed and healthy. The buboes and the fever had both disappeared. Truly, this is nothing but Baba's great prowess." Seeing her present condition, Shama at once remembered Sai's words, "Come back immediately," and he was quite amazed. Even before he arrived, the purpose had been accomplished. So he drank tea and returned at once. He went straight to the mosque and bowed at Sai's feet. "What is this sport of yours, O God?" he said. "It is you who cause agitation of our minds. Sitting in your own place, you generate a whirlwind, and you yourself then restore calm afterwards." Baba replied, "Look, this is due to the profound hidden course of your karma." Very true. So never blame the divine Lord Almighty or anybody else. "Oh, you're doing. My Guruji will say, "Do ever say God is doing?" No, God doesn't do anything. It is your karma because of which you have to suffer. People have this very stupid and idiotic way of saying, "Oh, God, why are you doing this to me? You're the one who's making me suffer." Are you mad? Why will God make you suffer? You think God has no better business, is it? He's only waiting to make you suffer? He's only pointing you, oh, this person should suffer. How stupid is our mind? Please understand, blame yourself for all your karmas and the karma you keep creating in this life also. Even when the guru instructs, don't speak ill about others, don't say anything bad about others, you continue to still do, and then you create more karmas. Why do you need it? Why can't you listen to the simple words or teachings of your Guruji? You need to first listen to that, and don't stop blaming the divine Lord Almighty. The Lord Almighty is ever compassionate. He's not even concerned with what is happening. It doesn't even matter to him. He is Para Brahma. He's everything. He's pervading everywhere. It doesn't matter to him whether there's good happening, bad happening. He's not even connected with that. He is Sachida Anand. He's untouched by what is happening around in this entire creation. That is who he is. He's mere a witness. He's not a party, or he's not taking part in any actions that you or anybody in this universe perform. Please know this. He's like that untouched lotus leaf. He's the untouched water on that lotus leaf. That is how he is. The lotus is not touched by the water. It's aloof. That is how God is. So never blame the God. God, why are you giving me pain? God, why are you doing this to me? When God gives you, will say, no, God, why are you giving me goodness? Why are you giving me all the wealth in the world? Can you say like that? No, you don't say that. That time you will take credit for yourself. You will say, oh, it is my merit why I'm getting all of this. No. No matter what it is, it's all your karma alone. Whether you have to get a sickness or you have to get $1 million, please know that it is because of your karma alone. The God is never involved. But when you're on the path of spiritual, whatever comes through is the grace of your Guru, the divine master. He bestows upon you that which is right for you. And that time, whatever that is bestowed by your Guruji does not have any karma in it. It is absolutely pure. So that is a huge grace to have. So please stop blaming your Guruji or anybody in this world, and take responsibility of your own life and surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord Almighty, and everything will be fine. Just accept your karma and keep facing them and keep going ahead. Don't stop. So see Baba's reply, so apt. Baba replied, look, this is due to the profound hidden course of your karma. Be sure that I neither do anything nor get anything done. But still, the power of doing, it is laid at my door. Absolutely. People will put it at my door, but he doesn't accept. My Guruji will always say, I don't do anything. I'm not even concerned with anything that's happening in your life. But he's very compassionate. He takes care of everything. Such is Baba also. The power of doing it is laid at my door, though Baba refuses to accept. That is how the great masters are. I am only a sakshi, a witness to whatever karmas that come about by the force of destiny. God Almighty alone is the doer and the impeller of all action, and He alone is the gracious one too. I am neither God nor the Supreme Being. I am not Anal Haq, God either. I am Yade Haq, one who constantly remembers God. I am Allah's most humble slave. How sweet. Baba is saying, I am the servant of the Lord Almighty. I am neither God. He says, I am neither the doer. So, I am neither God nor the Supreme Being. I am neither of that. I am only His slave. I am just serving Him, His most humble servant. How sweet. This is called humility. How to be humble. Though Baba is doing everything, he is not taking any credit, because he doesn't want to get attached to anything. He is ever detached. He is that Sachida Anand. He doesn't have to acknowledge, yes, I am the one who is doing, or I cured, I blessed you. No. Just when the divine laws, the divine beings or the Lord Almighty are desireless being. Everything is them alone. So what is not within them? They have the power, but they will never use it for their own benefit. But they will use it for serving everyone in this world and for everybody's well-being. That is their greatness. He who extinguishes his ego and with a grateful heart puts his burden on him will surely and safely cross the ocean of worldly life. Now listen to a similar and most significant experience of an Iranian gentleman whose infant daughter used to lose her speech every hour. for she would be seized by an hourly epileptic fit. Her body curving like a bow, she would lie unconscious as if dead. No remedy seemed to work. Later, a friend of his described to him the great power of Udi, saying that nowhere else was there such a unique and infallible remedy. Go at once to Vile Parle and ask Dikshit for the Udi. He always has it with him and will give you gladly. When you give it to her to drink every day, remembering Sai and keeping full trust in him, these fits will disappear and you will be happy. On hearing this, that Parsi gentleman asked Dikshit for Udi and gave it to the child to drink every day, and she was restored to good health. She, who used to become restless and agitated every passing hour, obtains relief immediately. The interval between two fits gradually lengthened to 7 hours. Thus, the hourly fit that seized her was delayed by 7 hours and disappeared altogether after some time. In a village near Harda, there lived an old man who suffered greatly due to a kidney stone. It caused him great pain and distress. Since there was no other remedy for his complaint except surgery, some people advised him to look for an eminent surgeon. The patient was extremely worried and could not make up his mind. His body became emaciated as if on the point of death. The agonizing pain was becoming unbearable. To undergo a surgical operation requires great courage, and the patient had no peace of mind. Luckily, his misfortune came to an end. Listen to the marvel. While such was the condition here, news came that the Inamdar of the village, who was a great devotee of Sai Baba, had come to the village. Everyone knew that he had always with him Baba's Udi, to ask for which relatives and friends of the afflicted came to him. The Inamdar gladly gave it, and the son gave it mixed in water too, his father to drink. Hardly had 5 minutes passed when a most astonishing thing happened. As that Udi Prasad was absorbed in the body, the kidney stone moved from its place and passed out through the urine. The patient at once experienced great relief. The wife of a gentleman from Bombay by caste, a CKP, Chandrasenya Kayastha Prabhu, always became seriously ill. When the time for her delivery arrived, however much they might try, not a single remedy seemed to work. The lady used to be in great distress, and the poor man would become worried and agitated. There was a Sai devotee, well known by the name Shri Ram Maruti, by whose advice this gentleman set out to go to Shirdi. When the time for the delivery approached, both used to be in great anxiety. So they made up their mind at once for all, to be in Shirdi and get rid of the fear. Whatever is to happen, let it happen, but at least it will happen in front of Baba. Making this firm resolve, they both came and stayed in Shirdi. They stayed on in Shirdi for many months and were happy performing Baba's puja and enjoying his company. After spending some time thus, the time for the delivery approached, causing them great anxiety as to how the calamity could be overcome. Even while they worried, the day of the delivery dawned. The mouth of the womb was blocked and everyone was worried. The lady suffered severe pains and no one knew what to do. A ceaseless prayer to Baba continued. Who else but he would take pity? Ladies from the neighborhood came running and petitioning to Baba. One of them took a little water in a glass in which she mixed the udi and made her drink it. Within 5 minutes, the lady delivered. The child seemed to be lifeless, having died in the womb. But that was the fate of the fetus. Another child may be conceived later on, but at least the lady was safe and free from fear. She delivered without any pain and was hale and hearty. The moment of a grave danger and anxiety had passed, and she became indebted to Baba for a lifetime. The following chapter is sweeter than this, listening to which a fond desire of the listeners will be satisfied. It will cure them of their bad habit of inquisitiveness and instead increase their devotion. We worship only the formless one, and hence we will not offer dakshina. nor will we bow our heads before anyone. Only on this condition will we come for darshan. They who had firmly resolved thus not only prostrated in obeisance on seeing Sai, but also offered dakshina on their own. Oh, what a miracle indeed! Also, the most remarkable power of Udi and how Nevaskar fed milk to a cobra with love and devotion, thus observing the duty of a householder. These and other such excellent stories will give rise to a loving devotion. When carefully listened to, the sorrows of worldly life will then be mitigated. What greater and lasting happiness can there be? Hence, Hemant bows at Sai's feet and prays to him to bestow his compassionate love upon the listeners so that they may get absorbed in listening to his Sai Satcharita. Here we actually have ended the chapter, but before that, we still have 5 more minutes and I want to narrate a very beautiful experience that happened with my Guruji and his other disciples. And this is connected to the story, a similar story that we read yesterday. Okay, this is about how Baba comes and collects that money from him through a different form, through a different fakir who exactly looks like Baba. And Appa was convinced after he asked him, I need the 10 rupee note as dakshina. And then he returns that 9 rupee coin back to Appa and giving him the blessing of the ninefold devotions. Okay, the ninefold path of devotion. So the story goes like this. My Guruji and his 2 other disciples had visited one of the Lakshmi temples somewhere in Mysore. I exactly don't know which Lakshmi temple this is. So they visited there and my Guruji couldn't go inside the temple. So 2 of his devotees, they were able to go and come back. So my Guruji wanted to offer an offering of 101 rupees, but he couldn't do so since he was unable to go there. So what happened is, so they came out after the darshan and they were, heading back. So they took a turn somewhere to stop and have lunch, and they were sitting in one of the fields so that they could all eat. As they were sitting there, one old lady, a very fragile old lady, with a big kumkum and all. She was very cute looking, very old and fragile. She was approaching my Guruji. My Guruji said to his devotees, oh, there comes the Mahalakshmi. Now she's coming here to take her offering. So see what she's going to do. Now very nice. And then they were sitting there. So wow, and she came and sat next to my Guruji there. So the 2 of the devotees, they immediately put some food because they were all getting ready to eat the lunch. They had packed the lunch. So they also took on a plate and they were going to offer to her. She said, I don't want to eat. And then she's asking my Guruji, I need 101. She asked exactly, I need the dakshina. So she said, give me 101 rupees. So my Guruji didn't have the 1 rupee, but he had a 100 rupee note. So he took that note out and he gave it to her. And he also said that before even he was going to give that money, he said, she will not eat. She has come to collect 101 rupees from me. So the moment he placed that 100 rupees note, she was happy. And he did not have the 1 rupee coin. So even his devotees didn't have it with them. So then she went off. Later what happened, I didn't know about this, by the way. I was living in Singapore in my home at that time, and I didn't even know about whether he had offered her this 100 rupee note, and because exactly at the time they were traveling and they were in Mysore, they were on the way back to Bangalore. And in the evening around 4 or 5 p.m. I opened my door in Singapore, and when I opened the door, there was 1 Singapore dollar coin at my doorstep. And I picked it. I was so excited and happy. I'm like, who would have placed this 1? It's not about the money. It's like a blessing to me. So that is how I have always experienced divinity. So every single time I find a coin, for me it's an answer saying, okay, you have got an answer to a particular spiritual, progression, like spiritual quest in my world, and you have got that answer. So you've crossed that particular milestone. So that is how I have always experienced. So to me, finding this $1 coin at my doorstep was crazy. So I immediately called my Guruji. I said, what happened? He was driving back. So I told him, I want to quickly talk to you. I open this door and I find this $1 coin outside. Oh, finally, okay. So you received it. So I'm like, what is that? It was quite, I didn't know. I was quite confused. I'm like, what's happening? He said, I will tell you later. Let me come back. And then he narrated this whole thing. So that is how the divinity works. So that $1 was, I got it. I mean, it was at my doorstep. So goddess did collect in some form. So he's like, okay, so the Lakshmi, listen, the Mahalakshmi has received it. So, and I kept it very, very cherished. I always collect these blessings and I keep it because they're all the profound moments of experiencing that divinity. So the point here is that my Guruji said he wants to offer 101. So the offering will not be left uncollected. So the goddess makes sure that she collected whatever she wanted. So that is how it works. And this is a very beautiful experience that we all, experienced it in real time. So I just wanted to share this beautiful story of my Krishna Guruji. So I hope you enjoyed today's Sai Satcharita Parayan. So thank you for joining. We'll be to all. Here ends the 34th chapter of Shri Sai Satcharita called The Significance of Buddhi, concluded as inspired by the saints and the virtuous and composed by his devotee Hemad Pant. See you all tomorrow morning for Devi Mahatmyam Parayan and evening for Sai Satcharita. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanatha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum.